Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you a little bit about subdominant minor modal interchange. Now, subdominant minor modal interchange, just when I say it out loud, that's like a whole lot of terms there that sometimes kind of scare people. But I'm going to break it down for you, and I think that it's kind of a really good way to get into modal interchange if you've never used modal interchange before. I think it's very easy to apply. There's a few steps you need to know in order to get there, though, so bear with me for a little bit. First of all, as you know from the reading, and as you know from even if we've talked about it in class before or other supplemental videos, modal interchange in theory is simple. If you're in the key of C major, like so, we get all our diatonic chords from the C major scale. C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, etc. If you want to use modal interchange, you can borrow chords from any other parallel mode, particularly any parallel minor mode usually works the best. So we're talking like C Aeolian, C even natural minor, harmonic minor, C Phrygian. We're going to talk about mostly borrowing. Let's take C natural minor in the beginning here. So we're basically saying as long as Do stays the same, as long as Do stays the same, we're allowed to use just for a little, take like a little splash of chords from the parallel minor mode, and it will still sound like C major. As long as we use generally mostly C major chords, we can just use a little bit of effect by borrowing some chords from C minor. Now that's easy to say, but if you just start playing random chords that are in the key of C major and then random chords that are in the key of C minor, you're going to have stuff that doesn't even sound like music. You can't necessarily just like use a random number generator that I know you all know I love to do in class. You can't necessarily just do like a random number generator thing, pick chords, and then see how it comes out. You have to be very specific about how you organize your thoughts when you're using modal interchange if you want it to be effective. So what I suggest you do is, first of all, we need to know when we're saying subdominant minor modal interchange, one thing you really need to understand about that term subdominant minor is it's referring to mainly one specific note, and that is scale degree flat 6. I'm trying to zoom in on flat 6, but whatever. You know what flat 6 looks like. Flat 6. If you're thinking flat 6, right, then what note is that? I'm talking the note flat 6, okay? So let's talk about the key of C just to make it easier for now. Flat 6 in the key of C. What are the notes in the C major scale? C, D, E, F, G, A. There's A, that's your 6th note. Lower that a half step, A flat, okay? So remember that. We're looking for A flat. Now, I wrote a simple melody that's all diatonic in C major. In fact, I'll hold it up like this and I'll sit at the piano and play it. Notice my high-tech system I'm using here. Sounds something like this. Sing along. There. Win a Grammy with that. Actually, don't. If you do, well, go ahead and win a Grammy with that, but then I feel like you owe me some of the royalties. Okay, anyway, it's whatever, right? You have a 1 chord, you have a 2 chord, you have a 5 chord, and a 1 chord. All diatonic chords, memorable diatonic melody. Everything works out great here. So what I suggest you do, if you're trying to use subdominant modal interchange, one of the easiest things you can do, based on if you're using the knowledge you already have learned in MAT, basically what I suggest, and please understand, this is what I'm about to suggest is not the only way to use modal interchange. This is just like step 1. Like this is like just the first thing you can try if you've never done modal interchange before. So if you know a little bit more than this, that's great. We're going to get into more of this later on in class. But for now, when you just want to get used to modal interchange, one of the best things I suggest you do is where you would normally, in quotes, write a dominant chord, like a 5 chord, dominant functioning chord, try a subdominant minor modal interchange chord. Now let's think about what this, so okay, here's your dominant functioning chord, right? Coming right before 1, right before we conclude our phrase. No big deal. Now, let's think about all the chords that we get from, oops, I erased some of my melody. I'll fill it in a second. All the chords that we get from C natural minor. Now, if you're sitting near a keyboard, play the notes might be a good idea to play a C natural minor scale, C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, and just kind of have those notes in front of you for a second. Now, go to that piano and play a C minor 7 chord, right? If you play the whole scale, here's C minor 7. That's the first chord we get. Is there a flat 6 in there? No. What note is flat 6? A flat. So C minor 7 would not be a subdominant minor modal interchange chord. Okay? We got it from minor, but it did not include an A flat, which is flat 6. It did not include flat 6, so that is not subdominant minor modal interchange. Okay? Now, let's move up to the next chord. Here's C minor, there's your 1 chord. The 2 chord, of course, is 2 minor 7 flat 5. That's D minor 7 flat 5. Is that a subdominant minor modal interchange chord? Look down at your hands. You see the A flat? Good. It's supposed to be there. That's a subdominant minor modal interchange chord. Move up to the next chord. Remember, we build all our chords in thirds, so if you're wondering where I got that E flat major 7 chord, play the C minor scale again. There's your E flat major 7 right there. Is there an A flat in there? No. So that's not a subdominant minor modal interchange chord. Play the next chord. That's an F minor 7 chord. Is there an A flat in there? Yes. Play the next chord. It's hard to hold a marker and use one hand of the keyboard at the same time. I'll get better at it, I guess, now that I'm teaching online all the time. But anyway, G minor 7, right? Is there an A flat there? No. The next chord is going to be A flat major 7, and it goes without saying that there is, in fact, an A flat, the note A flat in an A flat major 7 chord. And then take B flat dominant 7, right? That's your diatonic 7 chord. See your A flat? Okay. So I just put a box around those chords right there. You might want to make a list. Actually, what's probably better yet is what I would do is I would make a list of all of those. And I would write them down somewhere where you won't lose them. Because I think these chords, and these Roman numerals particularly, are going to come in handy for you. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about what all those chords are in the key of C, right? 2 minor 7 flat 5. That's D minor 7 flat 5. F minor 7 is F, or 4 minor 7, excuse me, is F minor 7. So I'm writing that down. A flat major 7 and B flat major, B flat dominant 7, excuse me. What I'm going to do is in place of G7, I'm going to try all of these chords. Okay? I'm going to try da 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 do da do da da do da dee da, and instead of G7, I'm going to try all of the different options. So you have those in front of you. I'll just leave this right here and I'll play it over and over again, and I'll just call out the difference. And you might want to try playing these at home too, because obviously, you know, I'm using the best audio quality I can, but it's not going to be that good. So try your best to use all these at home. But here we go. I'm just going to start playing just what's written. Da do da da do da 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 do da dee da. And I'll do it again. Da do da. Try D minor 7 flat 5 or 2 minor 7 flat 5. Apply subdominant minor modal interchange. In measure 3, 2, ready, go. Da do da 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 dee da. Da do da da dee da. That's kind of pretty. Let's try F minor 7, 2, 3. 4. Da, 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 dee, da. Now, the next thing, I notice how I wrote 4 minor 6 in parentheses. Well, the handwriting was really bad, but I tried to write 4 minor 6 next to 4 minor 7 right there. Let's think about what a 4 minor 6 chord is. F, A flat, and D. So you have 1, flat 3, and natural 6. Check out that chord. Play that chord if you're in front of a piano. Have an F, and up, go up one more octave. Like I'm going to go way up here to play the A flat. I'm not going to play it right next to the F. And then I'm going to add a D natural. That gives me something like this. Now pick up the F for a second. See A flat and D? I have a tritone right there. I think that tritone is going to make F minor 6 sound a little cooler than F minor 7. You tell me, I'll try it. 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 dee, da. I thought that was cool. Da, 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 dee, da. Pretty cool, right? I kind of like that. One of the stronger ones is going to be A flat major 7. Let's try that. 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 dee, da. Da, 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 dee, da. Yeah, so I don't know if that's this is the right tune for something like that, but you know, if you have this, it's got a vibe, you know. Let's try B flat 7 or flat 7 7. 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 dee, da. That was cool. I like that. I think that one might be a winner for me. I kind of like that one in that case. But anyway, actually, and just to give you an idea, let's go back to the original. The G kind of sounds boring now compared to the B flat, doesn't it? Like, it's cool, it's fine, it's not wrong, you could use it, but like, that's what and you know, I'm not even going to get into better or worse, that's up to you, but like, I do feel like, you know, essentially why all of these chords are working and why do they all sound good? Well, what if I take the chord away altogether and I just play the progression and I just hold an A flat in this measure? Let's see what happens then. Where does that chord want to go? If I leave that right there just like that, doesn't it kind of make you have to? Kind of makes you have to resolve that chord, right? Like you kind of, that chord in the same way that if you play... In the same way that that kind of has to resolve that A flat, kind of, you're getting the A flat from C minor, right? There's no A flat in C major. You're borrowing that from C minor, but by borrowing that, it kind of like, you kind of have to resolve that to G, and if you're going to resolve to G, you're building in a voice leading that leads really well to the 5 of this chord, you know? So I think that's essentially why that works the way it does. So that's oh, you know what? And you know, if we're getting really fancy here, let's try D flat major 7. Now, actually, I can tell you why that's not going to work on this particular melody, but D flat major 7, whoops, well, I'll have to hold it. D flat major 7 kind of fits into the subdominant minor category. Think about it, right? So with D flat major 7, you still have an A flat in there. But where can you get the note D flat from? You can get that from the parallel Phrygian mode. So play the D. Phrygian's going to be natural minor that also has a flat too. So first play natural minor. Now take that D natural and make that a D flat and play the same thing. Now play the notes, like if you start on D flat and play every other note in the Phrygian mode, you have a D flat major 7. So if you play a progression that goes, that's pretty cool. You know, that can kind of work out in a really neat way if you substitute, and you still have that A flat. Still have that A flat that wants to resolve to the G in the next measure. So while you're borrowing D flat major 7 from the parallel Phrygian, I keep it in the subdominant minor modal interchange category. So these are all things to think about when you're going and writing a tune using modal interchange, which is something that you'll have to do at least once during the course of these next few weeks. Write something memorable and diatonic the way you would normally write it if you were MAT. The memorable melody is a really important thing. Just because we're using fancier chords doesn't mean we gotta neglect that idea of a memorable melody. Have a memorable melody, start with diatonic chords. Just write everything with the functions you know. And then one of the times where you use a dominant functioning chord, or even maybe a subdominant functioning chord, one of those times, try one of these. And see what happens. Whenever you do this, you have to make sure that, like, in this measure, I picked this particular melody on purpose because while I'm using C major in the melody, C major in the melody here, if I borrow a chord from C minor in this measure, I have to use the C minor mode here as well, otherwise something's going to sound a little bit wacky. So like if I had the note E natural in this melody, I'd have to change it to E flat for it to work using subdominant minor modal interchange. When you apply it, it doesn't apply just to the chord, it applies to the melody too when you borrow that color of the minor mode. So, that's subdominant minor modal interchange. I know that's kind of a lot. That's why I wanted to make a video on it. But of course, the advantage is rewatch it, slow it down. If there's parts of it you don't catch, just watch it again. Watch it again. We'll be talking about it, and we'll be available to answer your questions during any of the live sessions. So, talk to you soon.